up, people? It's Dave Kim for Grand Rapids Rock Alternative, 97.9 GRD and WGRD.com. I am backstage at the intersection tonight. Puddle of Mudd will whoop some ass on the stage. Not literally, but I'm here with Wes. He's well rested, I was told.
Yeah, man. I just got up, so I feel good. I feel great, man.
So you guys, you kind of had some problems with Geffen Records. You parted ways there. Did that leave you a little jaded with the way the industry was?
No, not really. I mean, it was just, just like any other band, they just kind of let us go and let us slide on our deal, and so now we just handle everything ourselves, and it's pretty cool, man. It's fun to do it, So we're happy about it.
That's right, because you started Arms Division, right? Your own imprint.
Yeah, that's my manager Danny Wimmer's record company. So we're with them, and then we're kind of doing our own thing. So it's just we're all just doing it together now. The Geffen Records is great. Universal and Interscope, everybody over there. We loved working with them for the last 10 years, and God bless them. And we're having a good time just doing it ourselves now.
Does it seem a lot less stressful now that you can literally decide what you want to do for the band?
Well, yeah, it's very nice to be able to just make decisions that we feel are right and not have to re-record songs 4 or 5 times in a row and shoot $500,000, $600,000 videos and just all kinds of crazy weird just numbers and remixing songs 8 times, and we know what we want when we you write a song and re-record it and you mix it, and that's it. You move on, you man up, and you go to the next tune. But when you work with other people, they have opinions. It's kind of like when somebody's making a plate of spaghetti, it's everybody wants their plate of spaghetti a certain way. Maybe they want the sauce on the side. But, now we just get to make the spaghetti the right way, the way we like to make it,
Were those demands there when Come Clean came out, or was it because of the success of Come Clean that then they started kind of putting more pressure on you?
No, it was always like that, It was always maybe this should be tweaked, this should be redone, this should do this, maybe we need to remix this, maybe we need to remaster this, and, it was sometimes really hard to deal with it, I mean, seriously, on a serious note, fortunately now, when we get to where we know it's done, and we move on to the next jam, just like I said, and then, we just keep on going, keep recording and keep writing, and we can pick the songs that we feel can be hits, and, and then that's just the way it is, and we don't have to deal with anybody kind of on the outside looking in that doesn't really actually pay very much attention to it anyway, Now,
your first release, technically you are an indie band now, is Rediscovered. It's album covers, songs that you've played at your live shows before, like AC/DC and Stones, but you also picked songs from Elton John and artists like that. How did you decide what covers you wanted to do?
Well, basically all we did was we had a list of songs, and I'd shoot them into my manager, and then other members of the band would also submit ideas of songs that they think that we would be able to pull off in a good way, and then we just broke it down to about 15 songs, and we recorded all of them with Bill Appleberry at Eric Kretz, the drummer for the Stone Temple Pilots, has a really nice studio called the Blasting Room down in downtown Los Angeles, and we went down there. It's a beautiful studio. So many bands out there that feel like recording in a really cool studio in Los Angeles. I'd go to the Blasting Room, man, because, it's just really laid back, and they got everything there you need, man. It's really cool.
What was the hardest cover for you guys to record?
Well, the hardest one was the Bryan Adams song. I forgot what the song was called, but I just couldn't. Bryan Adams can sing, man. You know what I'm saying?
He's a Canadian heartthrob.
I know, man. The guy could sing high, man. And all those artists that we did, Billy Squier was pretty hard to do too. That was rough. I mean, he sings real high, and he, they were all really young when they were writing them songs. Old Man by Neil Young. I mean, he sings high, he sings high, very, very high, So, but they were all really young, and I'm not that age when they recorded it, they were like probably in their 20s, and then when we re-recorded it, we're all like in our 30s. So, you know, and the older you get, a little, the crispier your voice becomes, and you really got to take care of it. But we made it. We got it done, and we feel that we did the songs justice, and we're happy with it.
You've talked about in the past how you were kind of living that typical rock and roll lifestyle, but as you grew older, you matured. Was that something that you were able to learn on your own, or did you have like some outside influences go, look, dude, you need to calm down?
Not really, I was trying to do some, I couldn't play like, Eddie Van Halen type guitar. And there's a lot of other guitar players that I couldn't really mock, and I'm not like the best soloist in the entire planet. I can do some blues soloing, but my mom told me just like start writing your own songs when I was about probably 12 years old, and from there I just started writing my own music, and then I just kept kind of a catalog, and then I lucked out and got a deal, and and then now we're here, man, rolling.
Now, you guys were Puddle of Mudd was originally supposed to be at the intersection November 20th, and then the departure of Paul Phillips kind of put a postponement on your tour. Why did he leave?
Well, it was just an irreconcilable difference. Sometimes that's the way it goes in bands. I don't really dislike him, but it just wasn't working out artistically.
And now with you got a couple new members now this year. How has the chemistry been in trying to get the band as sounding as great as it's ever been?
It's killer. It's really kick-ass to have Christian Stone back. I mean, I didn't ever really want to get rid of Christian Stone. I ultimately had to do it myself. There were some other outside opinions that were kind of pushing me to get Paul back, even though Christian was just doing just fine, and he'd been sober for 3-4 years, and he practices guitar. He plays guitar perfectly, and he's a good singer. And I felt that there is no reason for him to have actually ever left. Unfortunately, right now we got to get him back, and the creative juices and the artistic juices are flowing. And ever since he's got back in the band, we have been writing some really great songs. And we're going to be going into the studio very soon to record, I think, a double album. It's going to be one full acoustic record and one full, just totally heavy record. So that should be pretty fun.
Do you have a window, a deadline where you want to release the album, maybe ASAP, or you're just going to make it open-ended so you can take your time?
All I know is this is like the last show on this run, and then basically we get like 6 or 7 days off, and then we go play for the soldiers in Kuwait for Christmas, and that should be pretty cool. We come back, and I think we get a really nice break, and then I'll have a couple meetings with my manager, and we'll see what happens from there. I'd like to have it out as soon as possible, but I can't really put a real date on it,
Would you ever return to a major label, or is the freedom too much of a positive that you wouldn't want to give that up again?
Well, you know what? I like the freedom. I guess there would have to be, some kind of massive check. If the money's right, maybe, That's about all I can say about that.
Now, obviously people know the history about you and Fred Durst. He tweeted earlier this year that he wanted to work with you again, and I think we're talking to Noise Creep about, well, he can call me. Has he called you? Are you guys working it all together?
Yeah, man, he's totally cool, man. He got my foot in the door, man. He believed in me, and I've always loved Limp Bizkit, ever since they came out. We've been talking about maybe possibly doing like an acoustic kind of short acoustic run, and that just popped up a couple days ago. So when I get back to Los Angeles, we will figure out what we're gonna do about that. If it seems like a good time, I'll go ahead and do that. But if it cuts into any time to where I can be recording new Puddle of Mudd material, I might skip it. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice. You heard it here first, sort of.
We really don't know, but it might happen.
All right, Wes, thank you so much. Puddle of Mudd tonight at the intersection, new album, hopefully next year, but Maybe.
It should probably be next year. Yeah, it'll be next year. Sure, why not?
But I'm glad things are going great for you. You guys, I love you guys acoustically. I mean, you were on our bootleg CD last year with Spaceship. And so, yeah, I can't wait for this double album. If you guys, is this for sure going to be a double record?
That's what my manager said, man. He wants to do a double record. So I was like, let's do it, man. Let's go for it.
Why not? Be ambitious.
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it, man, you know?
It's Dave Kim for WGRD.com and Grand Rapids Rock Alternative 97.9 GRD.